everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I am going to be walking you through my necklace collection. So I've gotten a lot of questions about doing an updated one. So first off, I'm going to show you how I store my necklaces. They're in these like Muji acetate drawers. So I just took out like the drawer sleeves to show you, and then they're each in these like cubbies, because I find that as long as the necklaces are separated by themselves, they won't get tangled. It's when they are like together that they get tangled the most. The downfall of these little cubbies are there are necklaces like this guy that like won't fall into one because of just how the chain is, but that one I just kind of lay across or put it in another drawer that doesn't have the cubbies. Benefit of having these like felty units kind of protects the gold and protects any stones that you might have in the necklaces. And then also, if you have pieces that aren't like 100% gold, you don't want to mix it up with like too many different brands of not solid gold pieces, because they can oxidize differently together and cause the necklaces to degrade quicker. So that's something to note. Another thing with non-solid gold necklaces or any type of jewelry, it's better to keep them in like sealed plastic bags when you're not wearing them. That also slows down the oxidation of the non-solid gold metals and will help you have your pieces longer and help them from like getting that like darkish oxidation, almost like rusty look to them. And then of course, you know how much I love Jenny Bird, and her pieces are the biggest pieces I have in my collection. So I also have these little drawers that are bigger, so I can fit my statement pieces there, and they're still protected a little bit with the felt. I still need more of them because I'm running out of space. So when it comes to styling my necklace party, I always start off with the shortest chain first. Usually with the shortest chain, it's either like a statement choker or a really delicate piece. This is one of my go-to pieces. This is from TOKENGOLD. So this is on, I believe, a 16-inch chain. I might be wrong, it might be 17. And it's like a teardrop salt and pepper diamond that she custom made for me because I had been looking for a piece like this for a while, but she has been making more of them ever since. And so I feel like maybe she might still be making them. Just send her an email or DM and see. She is working on a new collection, so I'm not really 100% sure. This one is one of my favorite pieces that I wear all the time now. It is 100% gold, and so it is wearable, but because it is such a delicate chain, I would be weary not to sleep with it, just because you never know how you toss and turn, it could break the chain. Then I like to go with something slightly longer, usually some sort of chain, because this is a pendant. I don't want too many like coinciding rock. It's better to mix it up with the layers so that it looks nicer and the depth looks nicer. This guy is like a mini herringbone chain from LEAH Jewelry. She's also Canadian. So TOKENGOLD is Canadian and so is LEAH Jewelry. She's from Vancouver, I believe. And this guy, just looking at how it hangs, might be like 17, 18 inch. The thing with herringbone chains though is that you have to be really careful with how they fold and bend, because if you're not careful, they can get a kink in it and it's basically impossible to take them out. This one is not solid gold. That makes it a better price point, and as long as you don't shower with it or go to the gym with it, it should be okay. This is the texture up close. Next up we have this Luisa TOGGLE necklace. It is just slightly longer, very likely because of the weight of the toggle. It is a different texture chain. As you can see, all the textures of the chains I've tried on so far are different from each other. That helps with getting them not to tangle as often. So that's a very popular question I get. If you choose different lengths, different textures and weights of chains, that helps with your necklaces from like binding together and getting tangled. It's not 100%, I still get my necklaces tangled, but this is a good way. So again, I wanted to choose something that was a pendant this time. So because it's broken up now, this pendant is a different shape. It's not another pear shape or another kind of drop that looks the same. It's a very different. And so we're building on the depth of the necklace party. All right, so this guy, without fail, I always get questions about it whenever I'm wearing it on Instagram or a video here. This is a vintage watch chain turned into a necklace. I got it from St. Eloi. All of these pieces are from St. Eloi. So there's also this love token that has rubies and one diamond in it. And then this little guy, which is another like lucky talisman, which is like an Italian lucky talisman. This one, as you can see, is a little bit more rosy gold. That's because it is a 9K solid gold watch chain. So the lower you go in gold carat, usually the rosier or bronzier you get in color. So this one being, I think 10K, is obviously much more yellow than this. I like this guy a lot because you can change the charms on it. These are dog clips, so they snap it off like that. And then the charms itself is on another dog chain, so you can choose to have it together on the longest part, or actually you can put it on this little guy here and then have it a little bit longer, sit longer, the charms, so it's more like a lariat. So it really depends on how you want it to sit. But if it sits like this, you see it hits this pendant right here. So then there's really no point of me wearing this guy because it's gonna cover it. If I wore it longer like this, you still see this toggle and it still keeps interest, and all the pieces on my neck are still adding some sort of depth to the party. So without this guy, this would be basically an everyday necklace party. But if I wanted to be a little bit more loud with my necklace party, then I'd add this guy, which is another vintage chain. This is, I believe, called a Cuban vintage chain. I got it from Hidden Attic, which is another Toronto-based vintage and antique jewelry brand. I think the reason why these two statement chains work is because they're slightly different color and they're slightly different width and texture, of course. Because if I had another one like this, I feel like it would be a little bit too much, a little bit too audacious. So I think that with this being shorter, being a little bit flatter and higher, it really works with the rest of these chains. So from afar, I think it looks pretty fun and natural. It's not like screaming too loud. I feel really comfortable with a lot of necklaces, so my level of like not too loud in necklace form might be way more than a normal person's. But in my mind, I really love this vintage Cuban chain because it sits right where my collarbones are, so it kind of just like has its little home right here, and then the other chains sit a little bit lower. So it's not quite a choker. I'm slowly going away from loving anything super small and tight. I mean, I probably will go back to that, but right now my necklace like trend love is growing longer. So I took out the two bigger chains and added this guy. This is the Moon and Star one from Ana Luisa. I'm not sure if that's the name, but I call it the Moon and Star one. And it has, this is on its shortest link. It has like 3 different ones that you can put it on. Because of the other chains I'm wearing, I wanted it to be as short as possible. It sits pretty closely to the pair, but the thing that you can do if you do have necklaces that are similar in length but you want to wear them together is just place them a little bit off center. I mean, eventually they might overlap again, but for a while, especially if it's on bare skin, it will adhere a little bit because I mean there's friction. It's metal and skin. So I think this one looks really cute if you want a shorter necklace party with thin chains. It usually depends for me with like what kind of neckline I'm wearing. The more skin I'm showing, usually I like to go with bigger chains, but let's say you're wearing like a crew neck or maybe like a V-neck t-shirt. This one would look really cute. I also like to plan for the necklaces to sit above wherever my shirt ends because it's really annoying when you have something that sits like right there. Like I was just saying, if you have a necklace that sits right where your shirt ends, it will like literally play games with your mind. It is one of my pet peeves. So this one I believe is like a 20-inch chain. I got the charm and chain separately from St. Eloy, both vintage chain and vintage charm. So I could put this charm on that watch chain that you guys just saw, but I like it on this chain for now. It just depends on my mood. So this is a spinner one, which means if I spin it, you should be able to see the word good luck. But we'll see if this actually played out. So let's just ignore the fact that this one is not something I would wear with this top, but just with another top. You can see now that there's like quite a big space between here and there. So I don't usually do that. Like I like to have like an even layer of necklaces covering like almost every spot. If I'm going to bring one that low, I'll probably find something that sits right here. So this lariat is from Zoe CHICCO. It was my second purchase from her. And it's honestly such a beautiful piece because it's so delicate, but because it's a lariat and it has like diamonds in it, it does stand out even from afar because it has like a twinkle in it. As you can see, it sits right where I want it to, right in between these two pendants and this one down here. It is a lariat, so it has this bottom piece hanging out. I would typically hide it underneath the pendant that sits above, just so you can still see it. Otherwise, the string is like covering the pendant. This one has a little diamond eye in it, and this guy has a little diamond in it as well. So I took off the good luck charm just because it's a little bit longer. I want to play with a shorter necklace party right now. If you watch my weekly vlogs, then you'll be familiar with this one. This one's from Jessica Jewelry. It is her mini paperclip necklace. So it is a 16-inch chain. So that's why it makes sense that this one's probably 16, because with a pendant, it would sit about the same. And then this guy shortened would probably be, I want to say this is either 14.5 or 15-inch probably. Probably 15-inch. 14 would be closer to a choker. And even like while we're talking, my necklaces have moved. So this one basically is like a choker now, but originally was down here. So really there is no secret to keeping your necklaces from tangling or from moving. It's gravity, it's the way you move your body, it's the weight of your pieces. So now I've added the other paperclip chain, the regular size one, which is 18 inches. Keep in mind when you're shopping for necklaces, try to have a mixture. So usually you'll find necklaces being 16, 18, or 20-inch length. So now that you can see the 16-inch ones versus the 18-inch ones, I don't know what this one is. Maybe this one's like 17.5, or it could be 18 and it's just sitting weird. So just try to have like a mixture of them, and keep in mind, usually it looks a little bit more visually appealing if the shorter ones are a thinner chain and then the longer ones are thicker. It just looks nicer that way. All right, so this is another way I'd wear my necklaces. So I found a choker that is a thicker chain, which is my Ana Luisa one that says BU on it. I hope it's the right side up. I can't really see in the preview. So this one kind of replaced my Walter choker while it's gone missing. I swear it's gonna come back. I just know it. That's why I'm not saying I lost it. It's just missing. And then I added this guy, which is, I forget what it's called, but it's one of the mother of pearl collection pieces from Jenny Bird. And this one, again, I think is about 20 inches in length for the pendant. It does have a shorter option that you can play with, but I usually wear it on the longest just because I have pendants usually sitting around here. This guy is usually my go-to to start off with, and then I add other stuff around it. As you can see, all the chains here are different textures. So that is one of the key factors to building a necklace party that looks really interesting and has more depth into it, is different lengths and different textures and different like widths of chains. If you want to amp things up, then you can add this chain on it. I always gravitate towards this guy because he's so comfortable, and of course he's one of my newer like investments. It is a solid gold chain, so of course it's going to be a little bit pricier. It is hollow, so it's not as pricey as it could be, but this guy always like is my last added piece because I wanted to sit on top. If anything goes on top of it, because of the width of it, it will cause the tangle. I don't know why. It just has something to do with momentum of how your necklaces swing. With this one on top, it helps keep everything down. So that's one of my tricks. If you have a heavier, shorter chain, or just heavier chain in general, put it on last. It helps everything stay put. So this is a pretty heavy necklace party for me, but it's definitely something I would probably wear with a plain white t-shirt, crew neck probably so it sit on top, or even a black t-shirt. It looks good like this too with a tank, but definitely something super casual underneath, and then just focusing on the necklace party. I wouldn't wear any heavy earrings that dangle down. This is a solely like look at my necklace party group. So I just wanted to show you how these ones might look together. So I put the watch chain back on. I added this Figaro that has a hint of green in it for some color. And I put this Pamela Card Jewelry like medallion basically on as well. It's around the same length. It is the same length as this Jenny Bird one, but I don't mind it because it is so much bigger. This can sit on top and still make it look interesting, and it's not overlapping each other and making it pointless. So this is a really heavy necklace party, but this is what you can do if you want to go like all out. The key to doing like a heavy necklace party is finding different length heavy chains. So this one's super short, this one hangs out in the middle, and then this one's super long. And then along the way, you're kind of adding glimpses of shimmer throughout the holes that they create. And then at the bottom, you have something that is different enough that they stand out. So don't put like two medallions beside each other at the same length, because they'll just kind of look pointless to each other. But like when you move and you see something different, a different type of shimmer like the pearl versus this textured gold, it will make a difference, and it will like bring people's eyes into your jewelry. It's not just like the same thing layered over each other. Every piece basically tells a story, which is why I love jewelry so much. Almost forgot to show you this piece. I showed it to you in the original necklace video, but the chain that it was on has since broke. I am still waiting to get it fixed because it was a super heavy gold chain, super yellow, but the clasp was something you had to like bend the metal to open. So now it's on a vintage chain that I had thankfully before. This is a really heavy piece of jade, so I don't wear this necklace very often because I'm worried this actual chain might not be able to hold it from like vigorous wear. As you can see, most of my jewelry is yellow gold, pearl, which is like a neutral white cream color, and then this is a salt and pepper like diamond. I don't have too much color. The only other color I have is in that Figaro, that's green, and then the love token, that's red. I really haven't brought too much other color into my neck yet. I'm working on expanding that area, but usually when I have a pop of color, it's like in the green or the red. So one of the things I love about Jenny Bird is that she makes necklaces that are super easy to wear. So this one is like a multiple layered necklace that I just threw over everything. I took off the thick chains because it's in the area that I knew this necklace was gonna sit. I kept this one, but I think that we can do without it. My neck got a little red. It's a little sensitive right now. My eczema is kind of flaring back. But anyways, this is a 3-level chain, which means that you don't even have to layer. Like, this is a necklace in itself, but I do think it looks really great with the pearl pendant dropping down a little bit lower and having the different little chains underneath just to give it a little extra shine. And for your reference, this is what it looks like by itself. For those of you starting out wearing necklaces, getting something with multiple chains together in one piece is a great idea. It's super easy to just pull it out of your jewelry drawer and put it on and not have to worry about it like matching or having to worry about it like tangling on each other because it's all one piece. So it's a great option. And then there are pieces like this that are super huge, and I've really just started like to explore big statement necklaces. For a long time I did those chains that you've seen. That's why I have so many of them, because it's been a while of collecting them. But recently, / like the last year or so, I've been really gravitating towards like really statement pieces like this that like you don't necessarily even need any other jewelry on because it's so beautiful and so like a showstopper. So this is something that I would wear by itself, or so this is probably what I would add to it if I wanted to expand on the statement necklace. I added the small mini paperclip chain from Jessica Jewelry for that really faint hint of shimmer underneath all of this, and then added the vintage Cuban chain because I know that it sits perfectly above like this length of chain. And then there's this guy, which is part of the Jenny Bird collection and has some of these like pebble organic shapes that you can see in this pendant part, and also has a little bit of pearl hint here. You can really wear it however you want. You can move it so that you see more of the pebbles here, and then you see the cute little toggle here, and it just gives you a little bit more interest. You can't really see the paperclip as much when you move the pebbles in front. That's why I had twisted it so you see the chain here and then also have the hint of the pebbles on the side. So this is another way that I would wear like a statement necklace like this. Guys, I just noticed that I have a tan line on my shoulders from sitting outside today. Oopsies. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed walking through my most worn necklace pieces today. I have obviously a bunch more. I just got a whole new tray from Jenny Bird that I want to show you, but I actually don't have the correct names for all of them yet, so I'm gonna probably show you them in like a next haul video. They are gorgeous. Let me give you a sneak peek just because I'm obsessed. Like, look at these chains. There's like a gold version. And then this is like a necklace version of their anklet. And then there's this guy, which will look really nice. It has like a really nice sparkle to it. And then the silver version. And then there's also this chain, which I think is really cool too. Then there's this one that's basically like the chain on the monogram initial bracelet they had. Anyways, back to the point. I hope you found that helpful, hearing what goes through my mind when I style my neck and how to look for different lengths of necklaces and different textures and widths of the chain itself when you're shopping. because that's important when it comes to building like an interesting necklace party. And anyways, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I talk a lot more about my jewelry and tag a lot more brands on my Instagram, so if you want to follow me there, it's Jess Undecided. I will see you very soon, and thank you for watching.